talk regarding the tragedy of Karbala and the preservation of the Sharia to the أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة للمتقين ولا عدوان إلا على البغاة الظالمين والصلاة والسلام على خير خلق الله أجمعين سيد الأولين والآخرين وحبيب رب العالمين محمد صلى الله تعالى عليه وعلى آله الطاهرين رضي الله عن أصحابه أجمعين وعنا معهم برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. العلماء حضرات علماء العظام الحاضرين الكرام السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. The best thing we start with is the Book of Allah, and I couldn't help but see the respected Imam and scholar and Qari mentioning these beautiful verses in the Book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and how suitable Allah gave him dhawq and gave him shawq and mahabba, mashallah. So there is this putting things in the right place. And he talked about the ayah, he brought the ayah where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, بَعْدَ أَعُوذُ بِاللَّهِ مِنَ الشَّيْطَانِ الرَّجِيمِ بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لا تحسبن الذين قتلوا في سبيل الله أمواتا بل أحياء عند ربهم يرزقون فرحين بما آتاهم الله من فضله ويستبشرون بالذين لم يلحقوا بهم من خلفهم ألا خوف عليهم ولا هم يحزنون. Beautiful ayah of the Quran, and all the ayahs of the Quran are beautiful. Like this outlines something that's very important to change the way we think about things. Before that, let's bring some perfume to our tongues and tranquility to our hearts by إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. Allah sent the messengers, so they always put the people, orient the people. And why did Allah send the messengers? So that they can correct the people's vision, view, and orientation. If they have swerved off the path, if they have diverted from the path, Allah sends the messengers, sends His books to correct that, so the orientation is straight. The orientation is clear. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. أَمَّنْ يَمْشِي مُكِبًّا عَلَى وَجْهِهِ أَهْدَى أَمَّنْ يَمْشِي سَوِيًّا عَلَى صِرَاطٍ مُسْتَقِيمٍ. Who is guided more? The one who is walking and his face is on the floor, he doesn't want to see the truth. So he falls in the ditches, and he falls in the dips, and he falls in the potholes and everything. He falls, he doesn't see anything. Like the ostrich, just because it dumps its head in the sand, it doesn't see anyone, but it doesn't mean everyone doesn't see it. أَمَّنْ يَمْشِي سَوِيًّا عَلَى صِرَاطٍ مُسْتَقِيمٍ. This is the straight path. اهدنا الصراط مستقيم. قل هذه سبيلي أدعو إلى الله على بصيرة. There is basira and there is صراط مستقيم. All these things are ingredients to see. People don't like to sacrifice because of this hirs on the dunya. I want. So they keep their money, Masjid needs money. We come, shaitan brings you 3,000 excuses not to give. Huh? Orphans, some orphans, orphanages need help, need money. Million excuses come. Charities, needy people need our help. People sick in hospitals. Any of the amal al-khair, all these khair, you see shaitan immediately is working overtime, intercepting all the thoughts. So this way, the prevention of sacrifice. Because Allah tells us, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, لَن تَنَالُوا الْبِرَّ حَتَّى تُنْفِقُوا مِمَّا تُحِبُّونَ. You shall not reach the highest piety, birr, until you spend from that you love most. Whatever you love most, you gotta give. But when you give, you're given. You have to have the yaqeen on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That He will give you. You give and He'll give you. No problem. But who gave you in the first place? Right? You keep from Him. He gave you. Give and He'll give you. Lakin, do you have the yaqeen on Allah that He will give you? Or do you have the yaqeen on the dollars or on the pounds or whatever it is? Yeah? And that's where we have to orient ourselves. Obviously, it's difficult to give money. It's difficult to give time. Yeah, say tomorrow we're going to do renovation in here, Masjid Hanafiya, for example. Right? We need people who paint. If you don't paint, we'll teach you how to paint. Don't worry. 15-minute crash course will make you a painter. And we need this and we need that. Who's going to show up? Make intention. Everybody raises their hands. Next day, tomorrow, we have 3 people showing up. Not you, inshallah. You will show up, all of you. Alhamdulillah. Inshallah, we have no doubt in that. Lakin, it's difficult. People don't. Life is about give and take. It's not that you always take. Community gives you. The ulama give you. This is how it is. Allah created the universe entirely so it's subservient to each other, in a sense. And therefore the Arab poet says, الناس بعضهم لبعض وإن لم يشعروا خدموا. People are servants of each other, even if they don't know. And you think, okay, he's a cardiac surgeon, heart surgeon. Yeah, but something happens with the plumbing in his home, he's going to go and beg the plumber to come. Now there's no plumber answering the phone. He's going to run crazy for after the plumbers. He will stand next to the plumber and be his servant. What do you want me to give you? Which one? This one? That one? Everything. He's ready to... He becomes the servant of the plumber. At need. And vice versa, also at need. People, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put people to serve each other so this universe goes and moves. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. وَلَوْلَا دَفْعُ اللَّهَ النَّاسَ بَعْضَهُمْ بِبَعْضٍ. Allah puts the people, puts the roles for them. The sun has to rotate in a certain way, and the earth rotates in a certain way. It's all to serve certain roles, and everything fills a certain role and spans a certain orbit. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. لَا الشَّمْسُ يَنْبَغِي لَهَا أَن تُدْرِكَ الْقَمَرَ وَلَا اللَّيْلُ سَابِقُ النَّهَارِ وَكُلٌّ فِي فَلَكٍ يَسْبَحُونَ. The meaning of the ayah, all of you know, that the sun is not supposed to overcome the orbit of the moon, and the night is not supposed to overcome the role of the day. Then Allah says, وَكُلٌّ فِي فَلَكٍ يَسْبَحُونَ. Everything spans its orbit. So do you, ayyuha al-insan. Now, you span an orbit as well. You fill a role and you span an orbit. Your life is an orbit that you span. Tasbah, you swim in that orbit until the time comes. There are different kinds of people. The people who like to live on the sides of life. The lives of chicken. What does that mean, life of chickens? Chickens, they eat, they drink, they sleep, they build a nest, They get married and they have little chicks, little children. And they walk on 2 feet, well, not on 4. Some people like to live this kind of life. The life of a chicken. Walks on 2 feet, eats, drinks, sleeps, have children, work to feed the children, happiness, salam alaikum, wa alaikum salam, this is it. That's what chicken do. That some people, they feel the takreem responsibility of Bani Adam. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. وَلَقَدْ كَرَّمْنَا بَنِي آدَمَ. This takreem, what is this takreem? Takreem, the honoring of Bani Adam, of the offspring of Adam. What does that mean? They rise to the responsibility of the rank or the maqam of being takreem of Bani Adam. They don't live the lives of chickens. No, they live life where there is positive contribution. Yeah? Positive contribution not only to themselves. Yeah, unlike what people think, and Islam does not only call for positive contribution towards your own well-being, or towards your family only, or towards your community only. Absolutely not. In fact, Islam calls for you to be a positive and a peaceful element and a positive contributor to your community, your country, your city, the whole world as a whole, to the human race, to the non-humans, to animals and plants and everything. Everything is a positive recipient from the contribution of Muslims. Not to make the story long, we can now deduce many things and talk for another couple of days. Lakin, in these examples of sacrifices, because sacrifice is important in Islam. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam sacrificed. The family of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam sacrificed. The Sahaba of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam sacrificed. People sacrifice. People sacrifice to achieve anything. Now, in order for you to achieve anything, you have to sacrifice. Even if you're a student. If you're a student, in order for you to pass your classes and courses, you stay up the nights, you take some time, you sacrifice. Huh? The poet says, Man طلب العلا شخر الليالي. Man طلب العلا, whoever wants to reach the heights. There are 2 narrations. One narration, Sahir al-Layali, means stayed up the nights. And one narration says Shakhir al-Layali, which means snoozing all the nights. So which one? Do you sleeping all the nights? Shakhir, this is Shakhir yani. Huh? Or Sahir, stayed up the nights. And therefore, when you walk into any nation in this world, you see them, and people appreciate those who sacrificed for the well-being of their people and the well-being of humanity. You see in any country you walk, you go, you see them always proud of their symbols of sacrifice. They put statues for them. Some other nations, they put well-being names. You see in any country you walk, you go, you see them always proud of their symbols of sacrifice. They put statues for them. Some other nations, they name streets after them. Those symbols of sacrifice bring pride to that nation. And I always say a nation that does not respect its symbols of sacrifice is a nation that's worth no respect. So you know where your heart is going now. We're talking about Ramzul Insaniyati al-Akbar in his time here. The symbol of sacrifice in humanity in his time. We're talking about Al-Hussein, Abu Abdullah, بن الإمام علي وفاطمة الزهراء بنت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم. A sacrifice that is really unmeasured. it's funny how the seerah, despite the unmatched sacrifice, it's still marginalized. When I stand today, in days like this, we are in Muharram, so we وَذَكِّرْهُمْ بِأَيَّامِ اللَّهِ. The Quran goes to say to remind them with the days of Allah. And what better days that go throughout the year than days where people sacrificed everything they have for the sake of the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I stand in this day and I am puzzled still at this glorious body of Al-Hussein and the glorious soul of Al-Hussein. I am puzzled because the body of Al-Hussein rebelled on death, and the soul of Al-Hussein rebelled against extermination and elimination. It's not easy that people rebel against death. Death comes and takes people by the neck. It suffocates people. People get scared of death. Death usually is a very scary thing to people. Like we see the body of Imam Hussein rebelled against death. And we see the soul of Imam Hussein rebelled against eliminating pressures and factors and elimination. It remained in this world. Many things happened to silence or to marginalize the body and the soul of Al-Hussein, both. The first thing is that, obviously things that have been mentioned by some of the ulama, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive them, like Qadi ibn al-Arabi and others, al-Malik, that Al-Hussein was killed قُتِلَ بِسَيْفِ جَدِّهِ. Al-Hussein was killed righteously by the Sharia of his grandfather. He should have been killed because he rebelled against a Khalifa of his time, Yazid. So now Yazid becomes the symbol of righteous Khalifa, and Al-Hussein becomes the symbol of transgression and dhulm. تِلْكَ إِذًا قِسْمَةٌ ضِيزَى. This kind of qisma is dhiza, obviously. But that this is the logic. Despite all the ayat in the Quran, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, kuntum khayra ummatin ukhrijat linnas. You were the best ummah that ever came to mankind. Why? تأمرون بالمعروف. You order the good. وتنهون عن المنكر. And you forbid the evil. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. لا تجد قوما يؤمنون بالله يوادون من حاد الله ورسوله. You would not find, another ayah, the meaning of, you would not find people who believe in Allah. They are silent, or they have mawadda to those who commit tyranny and transgression. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. وَلَا تَرْكَنُوا إِلَى الَّذِينَ ظَلَمُوا فَتَمَسَّكُمُ النَّارِ. Do not lean towards the Zalimeen. Nar will get a hold of you. Al-Quran speaks very loudly in the most emphasized terms about al-Zalimeen. بَعْضُهُمْ أَوْلِيَاءُ بَعْضٍ. You are silent with Zalim, you are talking spiritual with Zalim. وأبو علي الدقاق from the Tabi'een or from the Salaf, he goes to say that الساكت عن الحق, the one who sees the haqq but remains silent, is a mutant Satan, Shaitan Akhras. How can we see all these ayat and all these ahadith? الحديث الصحيح اللي هو الإمام مسلم in his صحيح, Man ra'a minkum munkaran, whoever amongst you sees evil, you should change it with your hand. Cannot change it with your tongue. Cannot change it with your heart. Al-Hadith al-Hasan, many of the narrators narrated it with Hasan Isnad, to say the least. Sayyid al-Shuhada Hamza. The masters of the Shuhada is Hamza. And a man who stood to a tyrant, told him the truth, and that man killed him. He also becomes Sayyid al-Shuhada. All these ahadith, Husaynun minni wa ana min Husayn. Hadith authentic sanad. Hussein is from me, I am from Hussein. Ahabba Allahu man ahabba Husayna. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is telling us who Hussein is. He's from him. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is from Al-Hussein both ways. أحب الله من أحب حسينا. The other authentic hadiths also that narrated by Hakim and others. Inna ibnaya hadani ibnai. Those are my two sons, Al-Hasan and Hussein. Oh Allah, love those who love them, and oh Allah, dislike those who dislike them. Hadith of Rawat Hakim and authenticated sanad. Though in the sanad there is a Sabi'i. Sabi'i is not majruh, lakin we don't know much about him. Lakin Hakim authenticated the sanad. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says, through Salman, hadith is narrator of the hadith of Salman radiallahu anhu, he says, oh Allah, Al-Hasan and Al-Hussein are my sons. Whoever loves them, loves me. And whoever hadith of Rawat Hakim and authenticated sanad, though in the sanad there is a Sabi'i. Sabi'i is not majruh, lakin we don't know much about him. Lakin Hakim authenticated the sanad. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says, through Salman, hadith is narrator of the hadith of Salman radiallahu anhu, he says, oh Allah, Al-Hasan and Al-Hussein are my sons. Whoever loves them, loves me. And whoever loves me, loves Allah. And whoever loves Allah, Allah will enter him Jannah. And whoever doesn't like them, doesn't like me. And who doesn't like me, doesn't like Allah. And who doesn't like Allah will enter Jahannam. Equation is pretty clear. Lakin all these texts, nusus yani, all these texts are disabled and abolished and put on the shelves to what? For the sake of the Yazidi tyranny and those who follow the line of the Yazidi tyranny from the Yazidi apologetics, who they say, you know what, it's not the right time to talk about these hadith. Hadith of fitna, that obviously leads to kufr. Because people who believe that the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam that's authentic leads to fitna, that's simply an act of blasphemy. In fact, because the source of guidance lies very much in the words of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Al-Bukhari narrates in his Sahih, halatu an Abu Hurairah radiyallahu anhu, he says, halakatu ummati ala yaday ghilma min Quraysh. There will be these foolish people that will lead my ummah. They will destroy my ummah. Under the pretext, no, we should not, if we talk about Ahlul Bayt, how can we be Ahlul Sunnah and talk about Ahlul Bayt? Under the pretext, while obviously Ahlul Sunnah means following the Sunnah. And the Sunnah said, I left you two things. If you hold on to them, you will not be misguided. The Book of Allah and Itrati Ahl Bayti. That's the Sunnah. Sahih Imam Muslim, Hadith Zayd ibn Arqam is an authentic hadith. ورواه الترمذي also with an authentic. والطبراني, Al-Hakim, many narrations, same authentic. There's absolutely no problem with these hadith. Lakin they're not. This is the Sunnah. And Ahl Sunnah are people who follow the Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Under the pretext, if we say that we're giving comfort to the Shia sects or to the Rafidah. Haqq is never known by people who follow. Haqq is known by itself. Haqq is not known by, we should not do haqq if someone does it. If your neighbor smiles, it doesn't mean you should not smile. Just because you don't like him. But though you should like your neighbors. That's sunnah. Because Christian, and I'm not comparing Muslims to Christians, yeah, in that sense. I'm just talking now intra-Islamically. Just because Christians idolize Isa or call him God, does not mean we should not love Isa alayhi salam. What is this, intimidation tactic? Or intellectual terrorism tactics? No. We stand by the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi that is authentic. And we don't prioritize over it any statement of anybody else over. No word of anyone after Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam takes precedence over his own words sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi. You know why? Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. ما ينطق عن الهوى إن هو إلا وحي يوحى. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam does not say things like that. But things that he say, swahi from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There's meaning for these things. The hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is not for us simply to recite and put it on the shelf. The hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is for us to believe in first, recite and learn, internalize and practice. That's the sunnah. But they say, no, Yazid is the righteous ruler. Wow. Last I remember is that in Islam, we don't, especially according to our understanding of Islam, we don't have succession appointments. The Khalifa must have, there has to be shura, al-hal wal-aqd. Shura come from the people, from the highest caliber of people, and they appoint. There's the shura, وَأَمْرُهُمْ شُورَى بَيْنَهُمْ. Who appointed him by shura to be righteous? It seems there's no appointment by shura. There is succession simply, and obviously that's not necessarily an Islamic point or an Islamic methodology of having successions. Because Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam did not tell us that this ummah is ruled by succession. Father dies, son, and then after son, the other son, and so on. No. There has to be conditions of piety, conditions of ilm, conditions of being just, etc., etc., etc. Especially in the ummah, there were people who are sahabis, and Yazid is not sahabi. We don't talk about the Sahaba radiallahu anhum, may Allah be pleased with all of them. Like in Yazid, we're talking about, number one, Yazid's appointment is not an extension or is not mandated by the texts. There's no Quran or Sunnah that says Yazid should be appointed, and therefore the appointment is not really in between kings, king after a king after a king. So how come that becomes a righteous Khalifa? Absolutely not. وحديث الترمذي, حديث سفينة الترمذي وهو حسن, it's a Hasan hadith where Safina radiallahu anhu says خلافة النبوة 30 عاما. The Khilafah, according to the prophetic style, 30 years. ثم يكون ملك بعد ذلك. Then after that is kingdom. 30 years, obviously Yazid is not in there. Al-Imam al-Hussein, we talk about this so we understand, because the righteous Khalifa is who? The one who rules according to the book of Allah and the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Not the ones who shed blood and ransacks Medina and destroys and levels the Kaaba. That's not the righteous Khalifa. Khalifa of what? Yazid ruled 3 years. And this is not my saying. Please open up all the references. Ibn Kathir, Dimashq al-Umawi, Ibn al-Athir, Ibn Sa'd, al-Tabari, you name it, all of our Sunni references. 3 years. The first year he massacred al-Hussein and the family of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam in Karbala. The second year he sent his army to ransack the Medina of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Ransack Medina. Yani the least people who say, they say that more than Ibn Kathir, let's take Ibn Kathir just as an example here. He said that there's more than 700 Sahabis from the Ansar were slaughtered by the army of Yazid in Medina of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And now when you go to Medina, you go to Baqi', ask where the Shuhada of Harra. The battle of Harra happened between the people of Medina and the armies of Yazid. The people of Medina refused this tyranny, so they fought Yazid's army, and there was a battle called the Battle of Harra, in which more than 10,000 people were killed, massacred in Medina, among them about 1,000 Sahaba. And I don't want to say more things, and there are more things that my heart does not really bear to say, that happened in Medina by the army of Yazid. The violations and the rape and all these things that happened. Anyway, the third year Yazid sends his army to the Kaaba. They put their weapons, they surround Makkah al-Mukarramah, and they put their weapons and they shoot the Kaaba with their bombs or whatever it is that they have, and they level the Kaaba. Yani the first day, the first year of Yazid was the killing of the soul and the heart of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Hussein is the soul and the heart of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Hussein minni wa ana min Hussein. The hadith is authentic. The second year he kills the Quran, the symbol of Quran, because those Sahaba in Medina, those Ansar, they were the reciters and the memorizers of Quran. So he slaughtered the Quran by slaughtering them. And the third year he slaughters the kalima of Tawheed by destroying and leveling the Kaaba, because the Kaaba is a symbol of Tawheed. The Khalifa is supposed to protect the people. The ruler's job is supposed to protect people. The ruler's job is supposed to ensure the dignity of his subjects. The obligation of the ruler is to ensure the safety and the honor of the people under his rule. Not that he sheds their blood, confiscate their money, enslave them and rape their women and kill everyone, the children. Under the very name of Islam is a disaster. Yazid did not say that I want to do this because I'm a follower of al-Jahiliyyah, or I am trying to resurrect the values of Jahiliyyah. No, he says Islam. With the army of Yazid, when they massacred the Imam Hussein, they were doing takbir and Allahu Akbar, we've killed the Khariji. Wal-iyadu billah, according to them. Where is the Sharia of Yazid? Who agreed to give him Sharia? Many of the Sahaba did not give him bay'ah. Abdullah ibn Zubayr did not give him bay'ah. Ibn Abbas did not give him bay'ah. Yazid, Imam Hussein did not give him bay'ah. What is this? Dictatorship doesn't work. Islam is not about dictatorship. Islam does not sponsor tyranny and oppression. Islam came to give people freedom and hope and growth and opportunity for all. Not to take it away from them. Came to give people life, not death. So the first thing they said, no, he was killed righteously because he is a transgressor. Transgressor against the righteous ruler Yazid. And then we bring these ahadith that are the Muslim or Bukhari or so, saying you should isma'u wa ati'u, you should obey, even if an Abyssinian slave rules you, رأسه جبيبة. Al-hadith goes to say, his hair is made in a way the Arabs didn't like. Sometimes some African people make their hair, etc. That's the one, the hadith goes to say, authentic sanad. If that one rules you, you should obey and hear. Very nice. Truly. If he rules you, if he's a righteously elected ruler, yes, absolutely. When you gave bay'ah to the righteous rulers, to the righteous Khalifa, do not take that bay'ah away and declare war on them. When you gave bay'ah to them, stay within that bay'ah. That bay'ah is bounding and binding. It's a bond and it binds you. Therefore you see when the Khulafa radiallahu anhu, Khulafa Rashidin, Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, Ali, and Hassan, when they were given bay'ah, then even if you don't like something they did, in your mind, remember, stay with the bay'ah. That's the meaning of the hadith. The meaning of the hadith is not that you bring anything and you put him there and you say, this is now the ruler and you have to obey. No. لا طاعة لمخلوق في معصية الخالق. The hadith is authentic. You do not obey a makhluk in the disobedience of Allah. Al-Islam did not come to teach people to be enslaved, or to teach people humility, or humiliation. Dhul. No. Al-Islam came to teach you to be proud, to walk proud. Umar radiallahu anhu, a woman comes to him and says, Ya Umar, fear Allah. Umar now starts weeping. He says, I'm wrong, the woman is right. And Islam gives people this freedom. Yazid wanted to enslave people, to shackle them, to put the chains of Jahiliyyah over them, to confiscate their minds so they can't even think. Like Hussein wanted to give an extension of the prophetic style, wanted to give people their freedom. You are free. You are only slaves of Allah, you're not slaves of Yazid. Yazid himself is a slave to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He should act like one. That's some of the things. Then obviously when that doesn't work, they say, by that standard, it means that the Anbiya were transgressors. It means that Musa transgressed against Pharaoh. Musa should have listened to Pharaoh. Why is he rebelling against Pharaoh? It means that Isa should not declare anything on Bani Israel, should have just gone with them. It means Ibrahim should not have declared anything about or destroyed the Asnam, the idols. He should have, no. By that standard. When that doesn't work, there's a long list of tactics to take down the credibility of the movement and the revolution of Imam Hussein and his message and principles. That's really what it is. They say, well, okay, fine, but he rushed it. Hussein rushed it, should have waited. It's not the appropriate time. Yeah, he's okay, fine, but it's not the right time yet. It was not the appropriate time. He should have waited. He should have known these people, betrayed his father like he doesn't know. Like he wasn't with his father every single day. He should have known that they betrayed his brother like he wasn't with his brother every single day and tasted the pain every single day with his father and his brother Imam Hassan. You're going to know more than him who was there? He was there every single day. He fought with his father all his battles. And he fought with his brother all his battles. He knew exactly what he was doing. And I move to say that this husn dhan, under the banner we should have husn dhan in the Muslimin. Yazid is Muslim among the Muslimin and we should have good thinking about him. You should have good thinking about husn dhan in Yazid on the cost of having bad dhan and bad thinking about the understanding and the iman and the aqidah and the fahm of al-Hussein. Who I have authentic ahadith, not one, I have texts. We have a long list of texts. He's from me, I am from him. What he does is me. His stands are my stands. His positions, that's what it's from me means. His positions are my positions. His words are my words. His jihad is my jihad. His mission is my mission. You kill him, you kill me. You put his head on the spear, that's my head. That's what it means. Husaynun minni, it doesn't mean I'm his grandfather. This is already a known fact. There's no need for the repetition of that. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam does not say things without a need for them. People who say things with no need to say, they're not wise people, when Nabi was the master of wise people. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Rushed. So that means the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam rushed by telling Quraysh you should come to Islam. Should have waited maybe a few more years. That means that why did Ibrahim destroy all the idols and put the axe in the big one? He should have waited. Maybe it's not the right time. That means Harun should not have rebelled against Qarun. Or that means also why did Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam destroy the masjid of the munafiqeen in Medina? The munafiqeen built the masjid in Medina. You all know. Masjid Dirar. Allah says the masjid أسس على التقوى أحق أن تقوم فيه. They built the masjid in Medina. They said, we want to build the masjid. The munafiqeen and the Prophet ﷺ was still there. Is your masjid there? We want to build another masjid, so we pray in it. Allah ordered the destruction of that masjid. What should Rasulullah ﷺ waited a little bit? Because, it's not the right time yet. Maybe that divides people. Maybe that hurts some people's feelings who have so much love of Yazid inside of their hearts, or of Shaitan inside of their hearts. I mean, الحق وحق ومتبع. الحق is حق and باطل is باطل. Simple as that. If today is not the time, when is the time? It seems like the plan is the time is never right for some of those people. The Sunnah's time is every time. Every time is a suitable time for the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And every time is a suitable time for the Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. We're still living today largely under that consequences of the Yazidi hijacking of the principles of Islam. The Ummah split. The Ummah split into many sects, right and left and everywhere. Courtesy of Yazid. Courtesy of Yazid. Instead of love amongst the Ummah, there's hate. Courtesy of Yazid. Khariji concepts are introduced in the Ummah. Courtesy of Yazid. Nasibi concepts. Courtesy of Yazid. I know you might think, are you saying all these things? It's very easy, it's very convenient to throw all these things at them. I invite you to read. I'm not saying read history because people tell you, oh, history has everything bad and right. Read the authentic hadith. Forget history. Okay? We have the Quran, we have the authentic hadith. Let's keep history for you. أول من يبدل سنتي رجل من بني أمية. النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم says أو يغير روايتين إسناد حسن إن شاء الله تعالى. النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم tells us the first one who changes my sunnah is a man from Bani Umayyah. He's telling these things for nothing. البخاري narrates عن أبو هريرة رضي الله عنه. البخاري, please open up Bukhari. Abu Hurairah is telling us that there was a time if he was to tell people about the hadith of Rasulullah, they'll kill him. Sahaba are getting killed simply if they say hadith? Yes. في البخاري, he says, I learned from Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam two things. حفظت من رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم وعاءين. The first one I told you, the other one, if I tell you what he told me, they will slit my throat. They will kill me. Ibn Hajar explained, he says, because if he tells about Yazid and these people, they will kill him. They will kill a Sahabi for telling a hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Yes. Yes. Under the very name of Islam. Why did Al-Hussein not simply write a letter to Yazid? He did. But then that letter would have been burnt by the Umayyads. No one would have seen it ever. Why did Al-Hussein not go by himself? He took his family and the children and the women. Because trust you me, knowing what you will see in history and reading the hadith, had he gone by himself or with two people, they would have killed him, massacred them right in the middle of the desert. And next day they came like the brothers of Yusuf with the qamis and they're crying, oh, may Allah have mercy, Hussein was here and we couldn't catch up with him. Someone killed him from the Khawarij and Yazid was defending him. That's how the story would be. Yazid is the defender of him. And before he died, he says, everyone should give bay'ah to Yazid. Huh? That would be the propaganda. Like Hussein made a stand that's very hard to deny until today. There is a wisdom behind what he did. It's very hard for them to say, no, no. It's 73 people out there with children and women. They all witnessed the events. You can make new paints of whatever pictures you want, but it's staying right there. And furthermore, there are authentic hadith. الحديث إسناده صحيح اللي رواه الحاكم والطبراني وعبد بن حمير and many. النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم is weeping, crying. حديث سلمة. When Al-Hussein, he tells her, my ummah will kill my son. And he's weeping and crying. Rasulullah صلى الله عليه وسلم is commemorating Karbala before Karbala happens. Authentic hadith, again, we're not bringing history yet. We're talking authentic sanid. Okay. So he rushed. Why do they want to say rushed? Because they want to validate, legitimize Yazid, the tyrant, and they want to take chop or chip at the ankles and the knees of the revolution of Imam al-Hussein. They want to say he did not have the wisdom to wait for the right time. Though An-Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam told us he's from me. So I assume that means the wisdom of Hussein is from Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. But he shouldn't have done it then. And he did. Why did he take his children with him? Because your media outlets would have changed the whole truth upside down, like they're still attempting to do. Distorting the whole picture, making Yazid this innocent sheep who is not really interested. Oh, he was so sad when Al-Hussein was killed. When they brought Al-Hussein's head to him, he did not kick it with his feet or with the cane that he had. And then he had to stop because people told him, don't put your feet or cane there. That's where the lips of Rasulullah were. No, he was weeping on Al-Hussein. That's why he didn't only promote the one, Ubaydullah bin Ziyad, the chief of the commanders of Yazid, but he kept his promotion and gave him more money. That's when you're upset with someone so much, you actually promote the chief killer and the murderer, and you tell him you stay in your promotion, and he keep his promotion. Ubaydullah bin Ziyad. That's why after killing Al-Hussein, Yazid was not satisfied. His thirst for the blood of innocent Muslims were not quenched. He had to ransack Medina and kill thousands of people. That's a sign of repentance of Yazid and the piety of Yazid. That's why after he killed and massacred Al-Hussein, and he shackled the daughters of Rasulullah, those honorable ones, the daughters of the Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they were shackled behind the mules and dragged throughout the cities, all the way to Asham, to Yazid. But we don't have anything that he put these people or punished them. He rewarded them, it seems like. But still, he was sad, okay? He was crying. He was crying. And after he massacred them and he massacred the people of Medina, then he leveled the Kaaba and killed the people in Mecca. That's also because he's a good man. You bring shaitan to these people, they'll make him an angel. Is that the point? La ilaha illallah. It's all to find all these excuses, this Yazidi apologetics, to find all these excuses to validate and legitimize the tyranny of Yazid, and to invalidate indirectly and directly the wisdom of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam by saying what he said about the Imam al-Hussein. Hussein is from me, I am from him, whoever loves them loves me, whoever hates them hates me. My ummah will kill him. In the authentic hadith, and Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says, وَهُوَ يَبْكِي, Salama says, he's crying, وَلَيْتَ شِعْرِي مَنْ يَقْتُلُكَ بَعْدِي. Whoa, who dares to kill you after me? I don't want you to think it's bloodline. Because it's bloodline, so that's why, Al-Hussein is honored. Yes, part of it, obviously, is because we honor, I'm not comparing anything, حاشا ma'adallah, Lakin if a little rock, little pebble, touched the shoe of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we honor it, we put it in our head. I'm not talking about the son of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I'm talking a little pebble, little piece of rock, touched the shoe of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam accidentally and coincidentally, that rock becomes honorable to me. Like Imam Hussein, Yazid did not want to kill him simply because he was the son of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. and the son of Fatima and Ali. Yazid wanted to kill Al-Hussein to silence the voice of Haqq. Because as long as Al-Hussein lives, Al-Hussein will be the voice of Haqq, the voice of truth that irritates the middle of the night sleep of Yazid and the likes of Yazid. They can't sleep. Silence him. Al-Hussein was standing for the haqq, for the kalima of haqq, la ilaha illallah Muhammadun Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. That principle was not really appreciated much by Yazid. Yazid would have liked a Yazidi version of Islam, not a Husseini version. Husseini, Muhammadi, Fatimi, Alawi version, يعني of the Khulafa and of the family of Rasulullah. He wants a Yazidi version of Islam. They say he rushed too much. It's not the right time. Why now? All these things you see about the Imam Hussein. Fine. Things happened. And things went on and on. Al-Imam Hussein was massacred. But we see that they tried to silence him, to kill him, yani killing him to silence him. They wanted to kill him, so they silenced his voice. But what they failed to understand is that the sword never silences an idea. The voice of Haqq is never silenced by the sword. You can put hundreds of swords through his body, that will not silence that voice of Haqq. That voice kept coming and more intensifying. Therefore, like I started at the beginning, the body of Al-Hussein rebelled against death by being a shaheed. They wanted to bury him, lakin he refused to be contained in a qabr. Therefore, Al-Hussein from that time on, his qabr is not only in Karbala, his qabr is in the heart of every mu'min. They want to eliminate the body, take the body out. So no one knows where the body is. Only to be surprised that that body now lives after 1,000, almost 400 years. The voice of Al-Hussein is everywhere, is shaking the dunya everywhere. The voice of Al-Hussein is repeated every day, every night, all the time. People, everyone who's free, the people who are free, I mean mentally free. I mean the people of dignity and honor. I mean those of you, especially the young people, who are looking toward this world to live in dignity and honor. That dignity and honor, everyone who's free, whether he's Muslim or not, people of dignity and honor, they look at Al-Hussein as the symbol of freedom, symbol of sacrifice. Look, didn't Gandhi say? He says, I learned from Hussein how to be victorious. Huh? Non-Muslims are talking about Al-Hussein. We are competing with other people about the love of Al-Hussein and the symbol of Al-Imam Al-Hussein. The body rebelled against death and the soul rebelled against elimination. Because his soul, you still can hear his words. Wallahi lam u'tiyakum biyadi ata'at dalil. By Allah, I will never surrender to you like a humiliated person surrenders. I will never do that. Never do that. Al-Hussein would rather die on his feet than live on his knees. Big difference. There are those who love to live on their knees. That's not Al-Hussein's kind. هذا الطرز والنسيج هذا طرز يزيد وصحبه. That's not the طرز of Al-Imam Hussein, the son of Ali wa Fatima bint Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. They said then, let's make sure that people don't know about him. Let's marginalize Al-Hussein. So now, you marginalize him. If you talk about Al-Hussein, they'll tell you this is Shia talk. Last time I checked, Al-Hussein was the son of Muhammad ibn Abdullah. Who is the messenger of Allah? Huh? And he's the one who told us in the authentic hadith, he's from me, I'm from him. And he's the one who told us in the authentic hadith, Sahih Muslim, I left you two things, if you hold on to them, you'll not be misguided. Kitab Allah wa itrati, my itra Ahlul Bayt. And while Imam Hussein is the master of Ahlul Bayt after his father and brother, I think I remember these things in the authentic hadith. No severance and separation of Al-Hussein from his grandfather. No. He did not separate it, so we separate it. But that's the people of Bid'ah and Hawa. They want to separate Al-Hussein from Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Though Nabi, he's telling us day and night, Husaynun minni wa ana min Husayn. Hussein is from me and I am from him. They said that's, and you have to imagine how difficult it was. The Umayyad state, Umayyad time of ruling was about 80 years or so. After the revolution of Imam Hussein, the Umayyads only lasted 37 years. From the house of Imam Hussein, revolutions came. I want you to understand one thing that's very important, and you all know it. The blood of Imam Hussein that was shed, this blood did not go cold. This blood was boiling. The blood of the Shuhada was boiling. The blood of the Haqq was boiling. It was motivating everyone in the Ummah. Let's go, let's stand up. Stop being slaves. Stop acting like slaves. You're not humiliated. You're not the slaves of Yazid. You're the slaves of the Lord of Yazid. Revolutions came from the household of Imam al-Hussein. Imam Zayn al-Abidin led the intellectual revolution in the Ummah. From that revolution came the grandson of al-Hussein, Al-Imam Sayyid ibn Ali. Led the revolution of Imam Zayd. You know, some other time we'll talk. Al-Imam Zayd ibn Ali ibn Zayn al-Abidin. The Zayd, the son of Zayn al-Abidin, the Ustad of Abu Hanifa. Al-Imam Zayd is the teacher of Al-Imam Abi Hanifa radiallahu ta'ala anhu. He gave him bay'ah. Imam Abu Hanifa gave Imam Zayd bay'ah and told him, here's money and here's my support, you go fight. When he fought the Umayyads, Bani Umayyah, Imam Zayd, eventually he got killed. They killed him. They crucified him on Kufa, at the gate of Kufa, في الكناسة. Imam Zayd, son of Zayn al-Abidin, this great Imam, the one who looks like Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in his knowledge, the one who is nur ala nur, they crucified him naked to humiliate him. How long do you crucify someone? 4 years that Imam Zayd was crucified. So that people come in front of Kufa and learn a lesson. Look what happened to the son of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If you don't act up, we will do the same thing to you. 4 years. They wanted to humiliate Imam Zayd. They're saying, you do that to him, then his body will rotten, stink, people smell, people hate him. But contrary to their belief, the longer they kept him, Allah covered him. Allah allowed his skin to cover all his areas of awrah. And every time people pass by him, they only smell musk over musk. Hada Imam Zayd, his son. I'm telling you the revolutions. Don't think the blood just went like this or they massacred him. No. That every drop of the blood of Imam Hussein was working in the Ummah, was turning the flame of Haqq and seeking the truth and seeking freedom. Freedom from slavery, freedom from enslavement, freedom from stripping people from their dignity, freedom from being enslaved against their will, freedom from confiscating their properties and ruling them according to shaitan. Imam Yahya bin Zayd, his son Yahya bin Zayn al-Abidin, he led the revolution also. They killed his father. The blood of al-Hussein is working. He went to revolution against Bani Umayyah. They killed him. You know what they did to him? How they killed him? They burnt him. Burning. That's what Muslims do, right? Supposedly, huh? They burnt him and they took the ashes and they threw them on people. Just to make an example. Revolution, another revolution. Al-Mukhtar bin Abi Awla Taqafi led a revolution. Sulaiman bin Su'ad, the Tawabin in Kufa. Those people who gave bay'ah and repented, 4,000 of them, they made a pledge on themselves that we failed the Imam Hussein in Kufa, we are going to then fight. All of 4 of them. They're called the revolution of the repenters. They repented and they used to weep. And they went all the way to Sham swearing that none of them will come back alive. None of them came back alive. They fought Yazid and Bani Umayyah. The other revolution, also the revolution of people in Medina. The people of Medina revolted. What is this? This is not Yani Abdullah bin Handala al-Ghasir. One of the Sahaba who was killed by Yazid. He said, by Allah, we did not revolt against Medina. He says, by Allah, I did not revolt against Yazid until I thought that heavens will throw stones at us if we don't move. He was sleeping, taking a nap when the army of Yazid surrounded Medina. They woke him up. His grandfather is the one in Uhud, if you remember, when he got married the same day, same night in the morning, and they said Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam called the Sahaba to go to jihad. Yeah. So he didn't have time to even do ghusl. He didn't have time to take a shower. And Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam allowed him to go in the jihad. And he told them he's ghasir, yani the malaika are giving him ghusl. That's his grandfather. Look at that, it runs in families. The reason I'm saying that. His grandson was also Sahabi in Medina. His son was Sahabi. His grandson was in Medina. And when they woke him up, they said Yazid's army is there. He put all his children in front of him. They all fought and got killed, and he was the last one to get killed. He wanted to make sure that his children are fighting the tyranny or the tyranny first. The tyrant first. And he was the last one to be slaughtered. Obviously, among the rest of the Ansar, may Allah be well pleased with them. They said, Hussein, no, the people of Medina revolted. Fawrat Ahl Medina. Now when I said, when you go to Baqi', ask for the Shuhada of Harra. Go stand there by the Shuhada. Those are the Shuhada of Harra. Yazid slaughtered them all. Anyway, you see these things, let me just finish it, wrap it up, because otherwise we'll be here for 3 days talking about Imam Hussein, and still we won't finish. They want to silence that. So what did they do? The Umayyas, the ramification, صلوا على رسول الله وآله بلغ العلا بكماله كشف الدجى بجماله حسن الجميع The Umayyads left because of that. The consequences of what happened to Imam Hussein was the uprooting of the Umayyad tyranny, with exceptions. Umar bin Abdul Aziz, radiallahu anhu, etc. And when we talk about, again, I know all of you are intellectuals and scholars in your fields, and we have good thinking about each other. When we talk about the Umayyads, we're talking about the tyrants among them. There are pious people among them, may Allah be pleased with them. So we're not splitting hairs here. The blood of Hussein brought down the throne of the tyranny of Bani Umayyah. The Abbasiyin, the Abbasids, they came on that wave. They surfed, if I may borrow this, since I used to live in California, they surf over there. They surfed on the wave of Yali Tharat al-Hussein. That was their motto. The revenge of al-Hussein. Black flags, the Abbasids when they came, black flags, black turbans, and the flags, the Tharat were seeking the revenge for al-Hussein. They mobilized the whole Ummah with them. But only to turn out that they're worse than the Umayyads. They treated Ahlul Bayt and they treated the Salihin worse than the Umayyads did. Anyway, Yani Abu al-Abbas Safa', the first one. So we're not saying only, but Abu al-Abbas Safa', the first Khalifa from the Abbasis, used to go and burn the bodies of Bani Umayyah who died. Take them from the grave, dig them up, and then burn them. Until you hate someone, fine. But don't burn their bodies, and Islam honored the bodies. It doesn't matter. You're not their Lord. Allah judges them. Khalas, they passed away. Let them. Cursing, or all these things away from them. Let them. They used to burn them. Killing anyone from Bani Umayyah, regardless. Though we disagree with the tyrants from Bani Umayyah, But Islam does not tell you to go and kill innocent people and children from the Umayyads just because they belong to the Umayyad tribe. That's what the Abbasids did anyway. The Abbasids, they thought, look, what brought us to the chair, to the throne, was the mobilization of the name of Al-Hussein. And they thought, wait a minute, think about this. They thought exactly what brought us to the chair, using this motto, can bring someone else also if we don't, They mobilize the whole ummah against us. So therefore we have to silence Al-Hussein. Now the Abbasids came because supposedly giving nusra to Al-Hussein from the Umayyads who killed Al-Hussein. Now they themselves figured out if someone else will come and someone else will use it and they will uproot us, dethrone us. So they had to dethrone Hussein. Ibn Athir, Ibn Kathir al-Dimashqi, you name it, I don't mention many of the Mu'arrikhin, just open up 239 of Hijrah. Al-Mutawakkil, one of the Abbasids, his name is Al-Mutawakkil. Ibn al-Athir, Ibn Kathir says, Al-Mutawakkil in the year 239 gave an order, the Khalifa. What is the order? He could not bear seeing people going to the grave of Imam Hussein. Because Al-Hussein was moving people. His name scares people, even scares the tyrants, even after they murdered him. He doesn't want people to simply go there. Because if you go to visit Al-Hussein, you might be inspired by Al-Hussein. You might remember Al-Hussein. You might learn from Al-Hussein. You might ask, why was Al-Hussein killed again? They don't want, no, wait a minute. Al-Mutawakkil said, this is a problem. You open up, we're done. So he ordered, Amara bihadmi qabr Hussein. He ordered the destruction of the grave of Imam Hussein, and that they should put plants and plow the whole earth. Yeah, bring these things that plow the earth, put it upside down, exactly where the grave of Hussein is, and destroy all the homes and everything around it, and make it all a field. The body where Hussein was, they wanted to plow it, and they did. They sent their things, they plowed all earth, and they changed it upside down, they planted things. Yani asifu, they were sorry, as if they were, like the poet says, they were sorry that they couldn't catch up with the people who actually killed him when he was alive, so they wanted to take revenge from him after he was massacred. They wanted to do that because it's difficult, that kind of understanding. He plowed, and then he ordered Sahib al-Sharqa, the police people, his military, he said, anyone we see him coming to this area will have to pay through money and blood. Visiting, now look at how then things evolved. Visiting the grave of Imam Hussein, you might be killed just simply to visit him. That didn't work much because people were willing to pay all the money and to be even killed to visit the symbol of freedom, the son of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Then they had to come up with another thing. Ziyarat al-Qubur, shirk. Oh, you are grave worshippers. That's from that time, man. Just so you know, the Khawarij are from that time, not from this time. You people worship graves? You're visiting the Hussein, why? Oh, we already plowed earth, there's nothing left there anymore. If there's a body, we destroyed it. We ripped it apart. There's nothing. Grave worshippers are you? There's no one that says, La ilaha illallah, worships anything but Allah. Isn't that contradictory? Or are you trying to put words in my mouth? Or is this intellectual terrorism? Because terrorism is not only blowing up people, that's terrorism. Islam does not agree with things like that. Islam is a deen of life, to give people life, not to take life away from them. To give people happiness, not to take it away from them. But there's worse than actual terrorism, there's intellectual terrorism. You know, they're all kuffar, they're all mushrikeen. Disenfranchising the whole ummah for a fiqhi disagreement. I see things differently than you. But we all believe that we have to follow the book and the authentic sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So you're terrorizing me because you have a different understanding? Grave worshippers? Don't go to the graves because you're grave worshippers. The Muslim والبخاري حديث مسلم النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم says نهيتكم عن زيارة القبور فزوروها. Visit the graves. Sahih Muslim. Sahih Muslim.
Yes.
Nobody worships graves. And then when you go today around the Kaaba, you do tawaf around the Kaaba and you hold on to the Kaaba and you do tamassuh. You wipe yourself on that stone. You kiss that stone, you put it on your head. You're not worshipping the stone. We're worshipping the Lord of the stone. And when we go to visit Al-Hussein, we're not worshipping the grave. Or when we go to visit the graves of the awliya, and we stand in front of the graves of the awliya, we're not worshipping the graves or the awliya, but we're worshipping the Lord of the graves and the Lord of the awliya.
نرى تكبير نرى رسالة نرى حيدري.
But we believe that certain places and certain people are blessed according to the texts again. Not me, not my pocket. There are some places that are more blessed than others. Do you agree? Yani Medina is more blessed than, for example, with all the respect, Sheffield. Though I love Sheffield and its people. No problem. Lakin, Medina. Huh? Some certain people are more blessed than other people. Huh? So we believe that when you are in a blessed place, around blessed bodies, it's probably a good idea to make dua to Allah. For it's a good chance that because Allah reveals and sends His mercies on those blessed places and blessed people, you might be included by chance like that. We say no to intellectual terrorism. Insulting the human mind, insulting the mind of intellectual people. Of anybody actually. So they said, no, don't go to the grave. If you go to Al-Hussein, you're mushrik, and if you're mushrik, we'll kill you. Because they had the power at that time. They saw the Khawarij, they're Abbas, they were more like Khawarij. Ibn Athir says, وَكَانَ مُتَوَكِّل used to be شَدِيدَ الْبُغْضِ لِعَلِيٍّ وَآلِ بَيْتِهِ. He used to hate Ali so much, and the family of Ali. Well, the one who hates Ali by the words of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is munafiq. Sahih Imam Muslim, in Sahih Muslim. Hadith Zar. And Zir radiallahu ta'ala anhu, Zir says that Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu said, كرم الله وجهه. He says, وَالَّذِي فَلَقَ الْحَبَّ وَبَرَأَ النَّسَمَ, by the one who split the bean, and created the breeze, the air. إِنَّهُ لَعَهْدُ النَّبِيِّ الْأُمِّيِّ إِلَيْهِ. It is the oath and the pledge that Rasulullah gave to me. I want you again to remember the word ahd. Pledge, oath. Not only he's telling me, he's pledging to me. What? What is he telling me, pledging? Giving me that oath on what? لا يحبك إلا مؤمن ولا يبغضك إلا منافق. Only one who loves you, Ali, is a mu'min, and the one who doesn't like you is munafiq. End the story. No one comes and vacates the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam from its meaning, twist the meaning this way or that way to make Yazid a good person. It's not personal with Yazid or with the offspring of Yazid or anything. It's not personal. We would have loved to see Yazid act according to the book and the Sunnah. It's not personal. It's about La ilaha illallah. It's not about figures. It's about facts. Facts are more important than. Anyway. So they say no visitations. Qubur, mushrik, shirk, kufr. You know how it is. 3 words. Shirk, kufr, bid'ah. Anyway, anything. So you just open up the book. First day shirk, next day kufr, third day bid'ah. So anyone who talks to you, shirk, kufr, bid'ah, shirk, kufr, bid'ah, distribution. Yani disenfranchising the ummah for what? For your understanding? You claim you have the exclusive right of understanding of the texts of the book and the authentic sunnah? Okay. Salaf? We all have a salaf. We follow the salaf. The Sufis have salaf. And the Salafis have salaf. And the Shia have salaf. And the Khawarij have Salaf. And the Mu'tazila have Salaf. And the Ibadis have Salaf. And the Zaydis have Salaf. And the Ismailis have Salaf. Salaf means predecessors. Everyone has a predecessor. This game playing with labels, and intellectual terrorism ought to stop. I aspire to a civilized and intellectual discourse, not debate. We don't need debates. We need discourses. So we try to get closer to the book and the Sunnah. We stand corrected according to the book and the authentic hadith. But this tarashuk, this, kafir, mushrik, kafir, Shia, Rafid, Khawarij, Mu'tazila, okay. This is the weapon of the weak. Yes. And the inarticulate. Violence is the tool of the inarticulate. It's the language of the weak and the inarticulate. You want to terrorize people intellectually? Go ahead. No visitation to the grave. Rasulullah says, visit the graves. They said no. If you visit the graves, we call you mushriks, the grave worshippers. Well, I'm going to follow the sunnah whether you like it or not. Ibn Kathir mentions in his Tarikh al-Bidayah wa Nihaya, mentions a funny story. I mean, not funny, but he says that an old man, Bedouin, when al-Mutawakkil covered the whole area, nobody can tell. If you go close to where Hussein was buried, they kill you. This is how they're threatened by him even after they massacred him? Yeah. He says, an old man, he doesn't know, he lost the way. Where is it? Because they used to know. Ibn Kathir says he would pick every few steps, he picks the soil on the sand and he smells it. He smells, he keeps going, he picks again, he smells. And he keeps going, he said, until he came to the place where Imam Hussein was buried. Subhanallah. He says, بِأَبِي أَنْتَ وَأُمِّي مَا أَطْيَبَكَ حَيًّا وَمَيًّا. He says, may my mother and father be sacrificed for you, O Hussein. What a good smell you have when you're alive and after death. يعني basically he says, أَخْفَوْ قَبْرَهُ عَنْ مُحِبِّهِ وَطِيبُ تُرَابِ الْقَبْرِ دَلَّ عَلَى الْقَبْرِ. They tried to hide his qabr from the people who love him. He said, but the good smell of where he is led me to where he is. Subhanallah. The mu'min, he went until he got there. Because that good smell opens the heart and the nur of the believer inside. Al-Imam al-Hussein had to stand to the tyranny of Bani Umayyah. For many reasons, I'll just mention a couple and I'll finish because I don't want to take too much time of you. Number one, because he had to show us how to deal with a tyrant who enslaves people. Al-Islam came to free people from slavery. Yazid wanted to re-enslave people again. He sent his army to Medina and declared them all slaves of Yazid. No. Al-Hussein had to show us how do we deal with a tyrant like that. Al-Hussein wanted to show us that you should not ask mercy from the executioner, from the one who is whiplashing, because the executioner does not know mercy. You should stand with the haqq. You should not go on your knees to the executioner. He wants to execute you. All the executioner likes, and all those jalladeen, those people who have these lashes and whips of Yazid, all they like is to feel the happiness at the misery and the pain of others. Al-Hussein wanted to teach us a lesson. Number one, those people's mercy, don't seek it. Don't go on your knees for them. Yazidis are Yazidis. Kalimatin khabitha ka shajaratin khabitha. It's a shajara that's khabitha. Yani if you bring a vile tree and you dump honey on it, so it looks good from outside, it's still going to be vile. It's still going to be khabith. No matter how good it looks, it's khabith. لكن الشجرة طيبة طيبة أصلها ثابت وفرعها في السماء. Al-Hussein, number two, had had to not only simply to stand for the tyrant, Al-Hussein had to show us the right Islam. He had an obligation, because Islam was being changed in front of the eyes of people. Hadith fi al-Bukhari. Open up the Sahih. Ibn Abbas saying that people are abandoning the talbiyah. They're no longer saying labbaik Allahumma labbaik li bughdi Ali, because they hate Ali. They want to change the sunnah. Salatul Eid is no longer the khutbah before the salah. Now they want to change it so they can curse Ali. Sunnah was being changed in front of the eyes of Imam Hussein. Akl al-amwal bil-batil. They eat, they take the riba, they do these things. Al-Hussein had the responsibility to the ummah, and obviously he had to answer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to show the ummah the right Islam, the Muhammadi Islam, not the Yazidi Islam. There is a responsibility there. Not everyone can do it because they will slit their throat, but Al-Hussein was willing to have his throat slit. No problem. Al-Hussein was willing to be that sacrifice that stands up to the tyrant and tells him, "O tyrant, you are tyrant. If you see my ummah fears to tell the tyrant, hadith al-sahih, Ya zalim, إذا رأيت أمتي تهابا تقول للظالم يا ظالم. When my ummah fears to tell zalim, you are zalim, then say goodbye to them. The hadith was to say. Hadith Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. The third thing is, Imam al-Hussein had to revive, not only to show us the deen, but had to revive the dead sunnahs that they killed and suffocated. They changed the sunnah and they killed many sunnahs. And Imam Hussein had to be the mujaddid of the sunnah at this time. To revive the sunnah and to start the line of tajdeed for the deen of the ummah. So that people can see them. Someone has to say something. And people will slander him. Now, if you say the truth, people will slander. You're not going to leave you alone. Because they still are irritated. The voice of Hussein still irritates people until today. Until today. People don't like to hear about Hussein. Not the mu'mineen, the munafiqeen, I mean. Because it has an exposing factor, unmasking factor. It unmasks the people who are actually really want to follow the texts, the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. When he was sad, when he was trying to tell us that, look what's going to happen to the ummah, be careful, Hussein is from me. Versus the people who want to take these hadith and close them down and put them behind their back and say, the killed and the killer are the same. Make dua for both of them. The murderer and the murdered are equal. The oppressor and the oppressed are, still a mistake. So there's now no meaning for zulm or adl. No meaning for justice, no meaning for any right or wrong, because they're all the same. Good, evil is all the same. Right, wrong is all the same. Oppression, slavery, freedom is all the same. Everything is the same. That's what they want to say. It's not the same. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Inna Allah ya'muru bil-'adl wal-ihsan. 'Adl. Allah knows. Ihsan. وَإِيتَاءِ ذِي الْقُرْبَى وَيَنْهَى عَنِ الْبَغْيِ وَالْفَحْشَاءِ وَالْمُنْكَرِ. And he orders you to stay away from transgression. And fahsha, filth, vile. And munkar, ordering evil. يَعِظُكُمْ لَعَلَّكُمْ تَذَكَّرُونَ. This ayah was institutionalized to be read on the minbars every Jumu'ah, in replacement of the cursing of Sayyidina Ali radiallahu anhu wa karrama wajhahu by Umar bin Abdul Aziz. He ordered them to stop cursing Ali and put this ayah, read this ayah instead. Inna Allah ya'muru bil-'adl wal-ihsan wa ita'i dhil-qurba qul la as'alukum alayhi ajran illa al-mawaddata fil-qurba. وَيَنْهَى عَنِ الْبَغْيِ. Allah does not want you to do baghi, وَفَحْشَاء and munkar. يَعِظُكُمْ لَعَلَّكُمْ تَذَكَّرُونَ. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for me and you tawfiq. So we learn from Al-Hussein. Before I finish, I want to say one thing. We do not want to live in the past. But foolish is he who doesn't know his past. We don't want to be stuck in the past, but we want to learn from the mistakes of the past so we can correct the mistakes in our future, in our presence, and plan for the future. But I don't believe in plastic surgery for the past. You know?
Yeah.
Cosmetic surgery, no need. Leave the truth as is. For the truth shall set you free. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.